Yo, what's up guys? It's Beck here. I'm gonna start posting some bodybuilding videos on this YouTube channel. So this is gonna be the first one. The way I'm gonna structure this video is I'm gonna give y'all my 5 biggest tips on how to improve your physique and what worked for me. So I've been bodybuilding for a couple of years now, and I've been in the gym for about 3.5 years. Over these 3.5 years, I have had quite the physique transformation. I'll put up some photos on the screen right now so y'all can see what that looks like. Growing up as a kid, I was always a little chubby. And then whenever I kind of started my physique journey, I basically did a super aggressive cut. Essentially what I did, which I do not recommend once again, is I ate 1,200 calories a day, just period. That's all I did, ate 1,200 calories every single day. Tried to get in higher protein if I could, but mainly just focused on the calories. I lost about 40 pounds, and at the end of that, I was super skinny. So I was kind of starting my physique journey from a blank slate at that point. Fast forward a couple years later, now I'm 20 years old. I just turned 20 back in July, and I currently weigh about 184 pounds, and I am 5'9". Before I get into the tips, I want to let y'all know my physique transformation was completely natural, no drugs, no steroids, nothing like that. So the first tip I have for you is training intensity. Now, I know you hear so much stuff on social media these days, but I just want to keep it simple. Train hard. Not everything has to be 100% optimal, not everything has to be perfect, but train hard. Whenever you go into the gym, your main focus should be training super, super hard. There's a lot of talk these days about, fatigue and whatnot. Unless you're working a super crazy job or something, if you're just getting started out in the gym, you're not gonna know how to train to that point to where you're gonna have an insane amount of fatigue. So don't worry about that. Under training intensity, I wanna say you need to train every body part just as hard as the next. For example, I really love training legs, so whenever I go and I do a hack squat or a leg press, I'm giving it so much effort that by the end of the set, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Now, I want you to take that intensity from leg day and bring it over to training your arms. Obviously, it's not gonna create as much of a full body fatigue and like a CNS fatigue because your arms are so much smaller than your legs. But if you take that same intensity from a hack squat set over to a tricep extension, you're gonna see some crazy results. So every set, I want you to think about, training just as hard as the body part that you love training hard. Because let's say you love training chest hard, you love benching. Okay, that's great. But now, let's say you hate training legs. Whenever you're going into a set of legs, take that same intensity that you would use on the bench press and make sure you channel that into your leg training. So quick summary of that point, train as hard as you possibly can. You will be able to recover, especially if you're just starting out. You're not gonna be training too hard. Don't overdo it with like frequency or anything. Don't train 2 times a day, don't do a crazy amount of cardio, but make sure you're training super, super hard. Now point number 2, this one may seem obvious, but food. Now, of course, everyone's focused on protein or fiber or low fat or whatever the new trend is. But I'm here to tell you what matters is getting a lot of protein in. I eat about 300 grams of protein a day, but I do bodybuilding, so it's a little bit different. If you're just starting out trying to transform your physique, shoot for about 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein per day. Another thing that comes up here is food quality. So if you're going to Walmart and you're getting 24 eggs for $3 or $4, that's not gonna be the same quality as if you go and you buy pasture-raised eggs that cost $9. Yes, it's more expensive, but you're also paying for that quality. So make sure you're getting as high quality food as you can afford. Obviously, if not, go to Walmart, get those cheap eggs, it'll be fine, but prioritize quality where you can. Another thing that goes along with food is not eating junk. Like, this might seem obvious, but a lot of people will give themselves a cheat day or something once a week. But in all honesty, that one cheat day or whatever you do is going to mess up your progress. I'm here to tell you that. From my personal experience, my entire physique journey, I've taken 1 cheat meal a week, and I've tried to keep it pretty clean most of the time. And that's 1 meal, not 1 day. This is just the straight up truth. If you want to take a cheat day, go and do it, but you're not gonna see the results that you want. Another point in food that's really easy to kind of understand is try to shoot for stuff that's 1 ingredient. Like if you go and you see that frozen meal that's labeled as protein or whatever, it's probably not gonna be the best food. You're much better off just eating some steak, some chicken breast, some fish, some whey, Greek yogurt, something of that nature. Another interesting part with food is I was actually vegetarian until I turned 20 a couple months ago. So my whole transformation was done without eating meat just up until a couple months ago. I'm still actually a pescatarian, so I only eat fish. My main protein sources are whey protein powder, fish, Greek yogurt, And I also do a little bit of non-fat milk. I wouldn't overdo it with the dairy if you're just getting started and you don't know what you can tolerate, but it works for me. The next point here is going to be consistency. Now, if this is something that you struggle with, you're not alone, don't worry, a lot of people struggle with consistency. I'm just here to tell you like what worked for me and kind of the honest truth. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. You need to be consistent. If you're skipping a day at the gym a couple times a month, that is an issue, that will hold you back. Can you still progress? Of course you can still progress, but you're not gonna have that crazy transformation that you're seeking. Another thing that goes into consistency is like your whole schedule, like your sleep. Are you getting to bed at the same time every night? Are you waking up at the same time? Do you have the same like wind down routine at the end of the night? Do you have the same morning routine? All of these little tiny things that I'm mentioning will add up and add up and add up and eventually just contribute really highly to your success. And if you don't do those things, once again, you can still progress, but it's not gonna be as fast or as optimal as it could be. Just make sure you're ticking off all of your boxes every single day, at least as best as you can. So for my personal transformation, like ever since I started working with a coach, which was about 2.5 years ago, I have never gone off plan once. I have never gone and taken an extra cheat meal that they didn't order or missed a meal or anything like that. Now, of course, I know most people that's gonna happen because you're not as like dedicated, because that's just a quality that I naturally have. Like I'm really able to tunnel vision on certain things. But if you don't have that and you're missing like 1 meal a month or something, that's okay. Of course it is a negative, but you're still gonna be able to progress. But consistency is truly everything, and I know a lot of people say this, but I gotta say it too because it's true. The more consistent you are, the better results you'll see. Now number 4, I think this one is talked about, but probably not enough, and that's sleep. Of course, make sure you're getting at least like 7 or 8 hours of sleep every night, but you gotta make sure that sleep is high quality. Focus on sleep hygiene, keeping your room dark and cool at night, trying not to be on your phone or screens within like an hour before bedtime, trying not to have any caffeine with like 6 to 8 hours before bedtime. And kind of going back to consistency on this point, you want to try to have the same bedtime and wake time every day if you can. So I'm in college right now and I literally design my schedule each semester to where my classes start at the same time every day so that I can wake up on a consistent schedule because I know it's better for my sleep and it's better for my progress. And I also work a job and I try to make sure that that job will not interfere with that other stuff because my goals for bodybuilding and my goals for my physique, I care more about that than the part-time job I'm working right now. Now, of course, tailoring your entire schedule to your physique is not possible for everybody, and I understand that, but just do the best that you can. Another thing that goes into sleep is like supplementation. Do you take any sleep supplements? Well, you might not need them, but if you do, I would recommend it. Stuff like magnesium, melatonin as needed, CoQ10, L-tryptophan. These are all supplements that are worth looking into if you struggle with sleep. If you have an Apple Watch, make sure you're wearing it to bed and checking what your sleep score says in the morning, and then trying to constantly make tiny changes to improve that over time. If you're not sleeping right, you're not gonna recover right, and you're not gonna grow right. Now, the final point I'm gonna talk about today is gonna be a healthy lifestyle and healthy habits. Now, of course, all these other things I mentioned contribute to that, but I'm talking about stuff that's a little more intangible. Making sure your mental health is in a good spot, making sure you're not stressed out, not drinking alcohol. That's a big one. I'm 20 and I'm in college and I don't drink. And it's also little things that add up to be this healthy lifestyle that you've developed, such as like some of the sleep stuff I said, like not being on your phone right before you go to bed. Whenever you wake up, are you turning over and just getting on Instagram? Well, you probably shouldn't be doing that. Whenever you wake up, you should get up, drink some water, brush your teeth, shower, whatever you need to do. But, try to prioritize those things that are leading to a more healthy lifestyle. Making sure you're getting enough steps in every day. Making sure you're eating a good variety of foods. Like if you eat vegetables with one of your meals every day, make sure you're changing that up every once in a while. If you just eat broccoli, it's not gonna be good for your gut. Same thing goes with fats. Make sure you're having different fat sources in your diet, not just peanut butter, not just olive oil. Try to incorporate a bunch of different things that work well for you. Other little healthy lifestyle things that I'll just throw in there real quick is like trying to get sunlight in your eyes in the morning. Drinking from a metal water bottle and trying to avoid microplastics when possible. I know a lot of these things seem like they probably don't matter, and on their own, they might not make a big difference, but whenever you live your entire life like stacking these on top of each other, it's gonna compound and it's really gonna help your progress. I think that's the main thing that caused me to have such a good transformation, is that I kind of try to check every single box that I possibly can. Like if I see that a new study comes out saying, oh, this might not be the best, that's it, it's done. I'm cutting it out because it doesn't even matter. Maybe that study isn't completely accurate or whatever, maybe it has some merit to it, but I'm still done with it. It's like all of these 1% things add up to give you 100% and even more to transform your physique. I'm gonna wrap it up there, but those are my biggest and most helpful tips on what I feel contributed to my physique transformation. So hopefully they can help you as well. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to answer whatever questions you might have. If you like this video, remember to like and subscribe. Also, if you have any ideas or recommendations for videos that you want to see me post, let me know in the comments and I might do them.